It's officially been 1 year since our hair transplant in Istanbul, Turkey, so we wanted to make a video today just describing what it's been like the past 12 months and what to expect if you were to get a hair transplant as well. So there's a couple questions that people ask us all the time. We made a video about a hair transplant before, but this will cover some slightly different topics. So the first one we get all the time is, was it worth it?
Absolutely. 10 out of 10 would recommend, and it's funny because we'll come up to each other a lot and be like, thank God we went to Turkey. So definitely was worth it.
Yeah, we both work remotely, and it seems like every day, and I'm not exaggerating, I'll come in and Troy will be working on his computer, and I'll just see him and I'll be like, yeah, definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it.
It does work. You have to be the right candidate, but we'll go over a couple other things that you should consider as well before you just jump and get a hair transplant. The second thing is, when does it start to look good?
So in your first 0 to 3 months, you actually get worse. And I can remember specifically some of my friends, and then obviously just seeing in the mirror, they'll be like, did you even get a transplant? Did it not work? Was it botched? What the heck? But that's just, they prepare you for that. You're gonna go through an ugly duckling phase, and you're gonna look balder and like what am I doing? It's very noticeable that you got a transplant. Let's just say that. You can't really hide it.
Yeah.
But as long as you just own it, accept it, you want to have a better end result, that result will come. Especially if you stay consistent with the preventative measures you've already been doing, which is the finasteride and the minoxidil, which we highly recommend taking. We're not doctors, but we highly recommend doing it because it is effective, and the side effects are very not noticeable for us and the majority of people. If you're scared about that, there's a good chance you're not going to be affected. So if you do want that result, you do have to take that tiny risk.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if something does happen, it very, very will likely not be irreversible. You will have just stop taking it and you'll stop experiencing side effects. So that's our take on that whole discussion.
Yeah, and then so it's been 12 months. We've sent in documentation to Smile Hair Clinic, which is where we went every few months, and the progression has been solid from month 0 to month 12. But even from 12 to 18 months, you can expect another 5 to 10% of density. So it's exciting to know that there's even more progress, even if it's small. Every little bit counts. So I guess the next question would be, does it hurt? We went over this in the last video, but yes, it does hurt to get the initial injections into your scalp, just like it would hurt to get a tattoo, or just like it would hurt to get the Novocaine shot for some dental work you're going to do, because it's just a very thin part of skin on the back of your head. They take 3,000 grafts, pluck them out one by one, at least they did for us, 3,000, and plant them on the front of your head. And you're going to want to be numb for that, so they have to give you, some pretty, I think it was 6 injections, 3 on top, three on the bottom of the back of your scalp. But after that, it doesn't hurt at all. It's completely numb. And then the healing process, I wouldn't say it's painful, but it's maybe just a little uncomfortable or annoying. But it doesn't throb or hurt after you just start flaking like you got bad dandruff, basically.
After that first month, you're pretty much in the clear, back to normal.
Yeah, like a fuzzier head.
By that third month, you're really doing everything back to normal, and then by 6 months, you already have a good result already, and you're really back to normal. Don't even have to do anything.
Yep.
And then obviously by the year mark, we've just been seeing it thicken. I think we'll have a tiny bit more gains to make in density by month 18, but this is pretty much got the result we were looking for. So.
And then another question, will it stay like this forever? So the reason you have to get a hair transplant is because you have hair follicles that are not resistant to DHT, which is a form of testosterone that causes male pattern baldness. So the hair on the back of your head is pretty DHT resistant. The hair on the front of your head is not, which is why you take it from the back and put it on the front. So whatever ground you reclaim will be there for good. It's not going to fall back out. But the hair right behind it is still susceptible to male pattern baldness. So That's why we emphasized, taking the medications that they prescribe. And if you do follow a protocol for the rest of your, hair growing career, you can hold on to it for as long as you'd like. A side benefit of finasteride too is it helps with men who have enlarged prostates. So that's actually how they found out that finasteride worked in the first place. Was they gave old men with prostate problems some finasteride and noticed that their hair started regrowing back for the first time in years. So fun side story.
So it could be even a long-term preventative measure in that scenario. Last question was, would you have done anything differently if you were to do it over again?
Yeah, so I think one thing we both realized is, when they're drawing the marker on you, you have to really, intently look at yourself in the mirror and say, is this the hairline that I want? They, filled in our temples to give us a kind of sharp hairline look. I think if we were to do anything differently, maybe would have softened the sharpness of that curve that they drew and just kind of let it fall more softly, naturally back. I guess technically a pure hairline, you would not have any recession of the temples, but they said, I guess I'm so used to looking at receded temples that I didn't know that was a thing. So yeah, we're both still happy with how it looks, but
probably would have just rounded out slightly instead of being as sharp, and then not put as much in the temple. So just focused on flattening out the hairline and just kind of rounding it. But that's just getting nitpicky. So still happy with what we did. And then the other thing is just to note, you will have thinner hair in the back of your head that is noticeable if you trim it down really short. So if you're someone that likes to rock the skin fades, it is somewhat noticeable. I mean, we don't have the light on too bright, but you can see just a tiny,
maybe you might not be able to see it. It's pretty faint, but if the light's shining on you, and it can expose you a little bit, but in most scenarios, no one would be the wiser.
Same with, this is where it naturally was before the transplant, and then they just added kind of flattened that line instead of it being as much of a horseshoe. So the hair that they did put in the corners is going to be a little bit thinner than your original hair in the front. So you have to just understand that to be the case too. So just know what your result's going to be. We got the result that we thought we would get, and we were very happy with it. That's basically the bottom line.
Yep. It's a great excuse to go visit Istanbul, Turkey. Definitely worth going to Turkey to get this done. They are extremely professional. We went to Smile Hair Clinic. We have a referral code, 1FORALL100. We'll get you €100 off if you want to do a hair transplant. If you were to go to Turkey, I think the price now is just over 3,000 euros. I don't know what that translates into dollars, but if you were to do it in the U.S., like we live in Scottsdale, Arizona, it would have cost us $16,000, and we would have only gotten, I think, 2,000 grafts. Where we went to Turkey and they gave us 3,000 grafts, and it was for just under 3,000 euros at the time. But it
included our stay and a bunch of other side benefits.
It includes your stay at the hotel for 3 nights, breakfast every morning, transportation to and from the hotel. I mean, they really get, and we covered it in the last video. They covered it. They give you the works. Such a good value, and they do a great job and are great with customer satisfaction after. They still send us WhatsApp messages every few months just to check in and make sure we're doing okay, and we've passed all of the milestones that they look for. So definitely worth it. If you have any questions about it, send us a DM on any of our social medias or just comment below, and hopefully this is helpful for your hair regrowth journey.
Thank you.